All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Rubio, and we're going to be looking at the 2020 Change Initiative. It's leading growth through reading growth. And so it's looking at edgenuity and ways that we can have a clear idea of how to increase reading activity by 20% because we're increasing engagement and student achievement by 20%. So, next slide. So my question to you all is, how do you encourage reading among your students? Or what do you notice about these pictures that maybe resonates in your classroom?
Well, for me, I like to extract the readings from our doctoral studies, and if I can take something that's irrelevant and I can tie it to, and it's appropriate to our students. For example, that passage that's on the board, I usually write it out and then I have them read it and then we talk about it. So not only are we reading, we're also writing so they get that practice, and then we have a discussion about it.
Okay, and that's something that really works well with edgenuity because it's something that we can look at reading and we can look at writing all together. And so it's something that develops organically through the approach that we take, just like you do with those chunk paragraphs. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. So why should we encourage reading and edgenuity? Well, there's a few main studies here, and one of them is a meta-analysis, study of studies. Chunking increases understanding of how sentences are written and helps students to group larger text. So just physically, you have that from Nishida 2013. Videos themselves can give students control over the cognitive load that they have. It also has authentic demonstrations of skills, whether through math, science, history, social studies, and they enable teaching staff to edit according to multimedia principles. Motivational reading interventions, such as offering choices and providing process-oriented feedback, also increase motivation and engagement in reading, as well as reading comprehension, which was found in 2021 studies in a meta-analysis. All right, next slide. So really what it comes down to is the big three. There's three things that we're going to integrate to be able to enhance reading growth through our edgenuity strategies. And I have found this to be the case in literally every course that we have in edgenuity, at least within this high school. So first you have clipping, second you have chunking, and third you have cutting down. So clipping is strategic selection of audiovisual materials for individual students. Figuring out not just, oh, mister, I have a 30-minute video. What am I supposed to do with this 30-minute video? I can tell you some things you can do with that 30-minute video. Chunking, looking at content sections for focus and instructing a chunk to read. And thirdly, cutting down, which is limiting assignment lengths based on objective mastery and student interest. And that's something that can be done in literally every assignment besides pre-tests. This works not only for our special ed population, 504s, dyslexic, different conditions that students may experience. At the same time, we can do this for all of our students, depending on the scenario and the situation. All right, so let's take a look at clipping. First of all, you can click on the actual videos that they're doing, and you can look at this through course structures on your main menu, and go to the course, and then go to a picture that looks like this. Because when you click on the student's assignment and you click on the frame, you can actually see in a video how many frames they have to answer. So if a student is able to, well, you're not clicking anything here, just because we have sort of the interface right there to demonstrate what it would be like. You can see what the student has then answered and figure out, can I cut out 12 and 13? Well, if it goes beyond the objectives, if it's something that helps the student to get to the next thing, you can clip it right out. All right, next. Chunking for online content pieces. What we can do is we can click on the site, and instead of saying, oh, the answer is embedded somewhere in there, all we tell them is, we look at, let's say, the second paragraph. So if it's asking, why do we study the sun, and how does the sun help to protect life on Earth, we tell them to then look at the first and second paragraph. So then they are reading it, much like the chunk that we were talking about on the board, but also in a way that's organic to the student being able to get comprehension out of the section they're reading. So it doesn't have to be just, it's somewhere in there. It has an intent, a focus, and a purpose. All right, lastly, we have cutting down. This is where you can pass a student with a score when you feel that they have mastered an assignment. You can look over here when it says attempt 1, when you click into their course organization and course text, and essentially, all you have to do is look at how much time they've spent, click on pass with score, and you can give an organic score based on their time and effort. So in turn, you can actually give them an 80, a 90, maybe even 100, and then advance them to the next thing because they have done enough with that video and with that online content, so that they're not winnowing away and they're not whittling away at their time and their effort. So let's go ahead and look at the next one. And those are where our studies come from from 2013 to now, we've seen before the pandemic and during it, and even after, these are things